All right, we're here. It's Wednesday. It's Startup and Innovators on Atlanta Discuss channel. I'm still Balogun, your host and moderator. But today we're having a very special time out, with two of our past guests. Amos, Tarfa, the maths guy, you all know him. He's been here twice already. He's going to be here for the third time. Now, Yinka, Tedimola, the founder of Lead Learning, we all know two of them. Yinka was here just about 2 weeks back, and he made a fantastic showing. And I did ask him, like I always ask my guests that, do you have plans for collaboration in future? And Yinka mentioned something about, oh yeah, there's a guy in the United States, Amos, that we're talking together. I said, yeah, I know Amos, he's a great guy. What you're doing with what Amos is doing, there's no reason not to synergize. Yep. And synergy, we have synergy. It has happened today. Welcome, Amos, Tarfa. Welcome, Yinka, Tedimola.
Thank you so much for having us.
Okay, so, these guys have done it. They're starting it. It's called the Nigerian School of Mathematics. They've established it. It's going to work. It has started. Fantastic brainchild. Yinka, you all know, studied electrical engineering. He's the founder of Lead Learning. Amos is a physicist. And he's a curriculum creator also, especially in maths. Amos, the maths guy, he has volumes of books, on maths. If your kid is lacking behind, it's done. It doesn't matter what part of the world you're in. But Lead Learning, Amos, the math guy, together, Nigerian School of Mathematics. That's what we're talking about for the next 30 minutes or thereabout. Amos, tell me, what's this Nigerian School of Maths about? Is it just that because you are Yinka from Nigeria, or is it just for Nigerians? What's it about? Amos, talk to us. Let's hear you.
Well, thank you so much for having us again. And Mr. Yinka, I'm really excited for, what the Lord has already blessed me with in terms of the help your organization brought to my world. There are some things that Lead Learning was trying to do that Life LLC was also trying to do. And it just doesn't make sense to be doing them separately. Instead, why don't we come together? But this vision started almost 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I started writing the Counting to Calculus framework. Everybody has heard Amos talk about Counting to Calculus. This framework started about 10 years ago. And the reason why it started was because I noticed that students have disjointed knowledge of mathematics. And I was trying to solve that problem by writing one book that covers everything. As a matter of fact, just a few weeks ago, my agentic AI tool has compiled the project to the highest level now by writing every topic that every child in every world learns, from basic math to university third level mathematics. And so it has made it into one book. So Counting the Calculus started as just for secondary school students. Now even university students can use it. It has examples, the history of math, science, everything. However, one of the parents that knew that I was working on this, they joked and told me, America has problems with math education. And they said, why don't you bring Nigerian math here? That's what he said. 10 years later, I was thinking about this. There is Russian School of Mathematics already. It's growing around America. It's called the Russian School of Math. For the Nigerian parents, or for the parents in general who don't know, America's math is bad. It is bad. Like, they are debating whether you should do calculus or not. That is bad. And so America is being left behind. Meanwhile, there are immigrants who are wondering, where can I get the rigor that I had? In the Bible, they say those days, they say they remember the times of their fathers, right? I remember what I had in JSS 1 to SS3 in Federal Government College, Lagos. And so when I went to Nigeria, this has happened multiple times. I bought the Nigerian textbooks. I have the whole everything, because Nigeria's math is actually very strong, like Singapore and India. So why don't we bring it to America and establish the Nigerian School of Mathematics and STEM plus AI? We've added STEM plus AI because we want our students to be the best in everything that they are doing in STEM. So that's where the vision came from. But what is powering the vision? The vision is going to be out of Houston, Texas first. That's the first site we have. But out of Houston, Texas, we're growing it to Dallas, Austin, and beyond. We want to saturate Texas first. Then America, be ready. Well, we have an ad that we're making. I'll send it to you, Mr. Balogun, so you share with the group. But we have an ad we're making, and you'll see that in our ad, it starts from Texas and it spreads across America. Wow. And so this is the highest level of math, no playing around, because it is Nigerian School of Math plus Counting to Calculus. The best of both worlds have come. Mr. Yinka's group is going to power the tutoring. So I'll hand it over. He's my chief operating officer. So he can share a little bit about
I'm so excited.
How is lead learning going to power this from Abuja? Mr. Yinka.
See, that's where we started this startup and innovators. You have started and you are innovating. I love that. Yinka, what role is lead learning playing in all this? I mean, you're an electrical engineer, and now we have the Nigerian School of Mathematics based in Houston, spread into the world. What role? Amos has given you a lot of kudos already, So tell us, what are you doing in your own words? What's happening?
Okay, thank you so much for having me, Mr. Balogun again. Thank you so much, Mr. Amos, my God. So, what I've been in the space of educating students across curriculums, like I said the last time, for the past maybe 8 years or 9 years now. And like I said at the last meeting, I mentioned that not only is the Nigerian curriculum quite interesting, and I'll speak about that in a bit, but more than that, the Nigerian educators, I mean, if you think about it, and I think this goes into almost every sphere of the world, you find out that once Nigerians have the right exposure, they excel, right? So Nigeria is actually, when it comes to human resource, the major problem we have is just exposure, right? But the human resource, the human capital in Nigeria is amazing. And so with a lot of teachers that I've trained, we've been able to work with students across, in fact, just the one student that after they paid their fees, I think she's in Germany or so, she sent me a very heartwarming message, telling me thank you for so much, that it's the most patient she has ever had, and all of that. In fact, I could even share that with you. That was just today. So we get that feedback from all over the world. Now, we want to have Nigerian educators power the education, the math education that Mr. Amos is talking about, right? So basically, they will be taught out of Nigeria. We already have a very brilliant learning management system that we have put together, but that will be powered by the Counting the Calculus program. But even more than that, we have another one that is also coming. Mr. Amos is a powerhouse when it comes to AI and all of that. So we are all working together to bring that to be. But like I said, more than even the educators, another thing is the culture of learning in Nigeria. One of the things that baffles me the most, and I think I said at the last meeting, is that in fact, a parent called me after our webinar, Mr. Amos, that was on Saturday. Called me on Saturday, yes, called me. I was lamenting seriously. We used to work with her kids in Nigeria. She moved them over to Canada now. And then she called me and was like, man, that her children come back from school laughing at the entire school. They're like, what's going on here? That the boy is wondering, why am I doing decimals now? Like, I did this 2 years ago. I mastered this 2 years ago. And all of that. Same thing with the older daughter. And basically, she's like, look, Yinka, I have to hand over these children back to you. This was just the day before yesterday that we had this conversation. And we now have to create a system for her to keep working with our tutors. Of course, our own program is quite similar to that of Mr. Amos, and we're trying to, we just go skill by skill. It's a mastery-based learning program that we do. And you find out that you can take children and scale them, they'll just go far above their learning requirement, such that by the time they are having to write exam, the exam is just like a local balance akara, akara and bread, when you just eat akara, put bread inside, you just eat it. That's how most of their math assessments are when, they have that strong background from us. So that culture of learning, that culture of excellence, that culture of, I should be the best, that culture of, I got 98 on the math assessment, where is the remaining 2 marks? Like all our Nigerian mothers told us, I'm sure it's not only me, I'm sure Mr. Balogun's mother told him too, right? Where's the remaining 2 marks? Why don't we have 100%? So there's that culture of excellence that we find that for most of the children that we have outside of here, they don't have that anymore. Everybody's just, my children, like I said the last time, I'm fighting you over, why did you come back with 1,330 in your SATs? And you're telling me that, Mr. Yinka, why you disturb me? Maybe I'm on the 87th percentile. And I'm like, okay, because again, we shot for 1,500, and that's the normalcy of what we shoot for. But then you're not hearing things like, and all of that. Talk more when they're over there. So it's not just the tutors we are bringing, like I said, we're also bringing the culture of, the same culture that a lot of the Asians have and they preserve when they go over to America. The same culture that we are trying to present to Nigerian scholars and have them preserve that and continue to excel. One last thing I will say, that woman that spoke to me 2 days ago, she told me that the moment her child landed in Ontario, right, that after just about 2 weeks in the school, they took him to go and represent them in an interstate competition.
Because it was already advanced.
Because it was really advanced. And I was just laughing because you're not the one that did the work. Just that kind of thing. It's not you that did the work, but yet, just keep the boy up. That kind of thing. We even have students who we are even, in a sense, when we are having conversation with them, we are trusting God in terms of, okay, we are trying to push, we are trying to do this and that, and then they go over there and they're like, we are hearing that, they are seemingly doing so well, and all of that. So yes, so why can't they have the best of both worlds, like Mr. Amos said? Yes, you're running that curriculum, which Mr. Amos has even made a counter-to-calculus program, but then we can have Nigerian tutors power that learning, right, and push them into heights untold.
Interesting. I'm so excited. I don't know how to quantify my excitement. I'm really excited for you guys. But as we proceed, I'm going to be referencing people, Nigerians have done well in maths all over the world, even some before you guys were even born, So my next question is going to be on recruitment. But before I go into that question will be for Yinka, and I have another question for Amos. Now, there's a guy, Professor Ishaya Shuaibu Audu, was a pioneer vice chancellor for the Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria. This guy, Nigerian, of course, collected all the prizes at St. Mary's University Medical School in London, and his successor in Zaria, Iya Abubakar, was a highly talented Cambridge mathematician who became a professor at 28 and was a noted consultant to NASA. I mean, everybody knows NASA. Let me quickly go to another one. They ask a question. I have a long list, but we'll be doing an interval. There's Alexander Animalu, was a gifted MIT, that's a Massachusetts Institute of Technology, popular MIT, was a gifted physicist who did work of original importance in superconductivity. His book, Intermediate Quantum Theory of Crystalline Solids, has been translated into several languages, including Russian. You see what I'm saying? I'm sure if we go to that mathematics school, Russian mathematics school, the Russian School of Mathematics, I'm sure we will find that there because they've already said that one of the languages it was translated to was Russian. So how do you guys recruit? How do you enroll in what you don't be recruiting? You're not employed yet. How do you enroll students into this?
Mr. Yinka, can you talk about summer program? Talk about the summer program too, Mr. Yinka, as you discuss the goals for enrolling.
Good. Can tell us about how you enroll people. For example, if I have a child or anybody has a child that wants to enroll in the Nigerian School of Mathematics, how is it done?
Okay, so I would have thought that this would be something Mr. Amos would probably talk about better, but let me just share a bit. So we are starting out with the
sorry,
Mr.
Yinka. Mr. Yinka, 1 second. Yeah. To answer his question, you are right. Let me answer the now. So if somebody wants to enroll now, our website, nigerianschoolofmathematics.com, is dropping this week. We had to change it. We had one, but we are updating it. So that website will be live Wednesday, so everybody can see the website. But in the meantime, they can just use our, go to my website, learningforexcellence.com, because that's the organization that gave birth to Nigerian School of Math. So just learningforexcellence.com, click on, the registration, fill out your information. But so let's say somebody wants to sign up for this school year still, and they need tutoring, lead learning, they are ready. They are ready to go. Just send us your, Amos at learningforexcellence.com. That's my email. You send me an email, I'll connect you with Mr. Yinka. You will have an appointment with Mr. Yinka. You will learn, he will find out about you, and then he will go from there. But this summer, there's a 6-week course that is dropping, and it's open to everybody. But, Mr. Yinka can share. Yes, you are welcome, sir. We have room for you, sir. So Mr. Yinka can share the classes. So share the classes, and then, but that's how you enroll is you go on our website, we'll schedule a diagnostic, learningforexcellence.com. And then the summer program is our first flagship program. That's the first program that will then push.
So it's online, right?
Yes, it's for all online. This summer from 9 to 11:30 a.m. Central Standard Time. But Mr. Yinka, please, what is going on this summer with that when they enroll?
Okay, so I think the best way
quickly. So anybody anywhere in the world can take part in the summer class.
100%.
100%.
100%.
Anybody anywhere. Okay, Yinka, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. So I mean, the best way I can describe the summer program with everything that we put into it is, again, I assume I'm speaking to Nigeria, so it's a banger. You know, that's what we call banger in Nigeria, right? When something's a banger, it's going to be wow. Exactly, sir. Yeah. So, and what we are trying to do, so it's going to be for 6 weeks. It's going to be from July 17th to August 7th. But we are going to take the week of July 4th and the week after that, you know, as breaks, you know. So we'll have, I think, 4 weeks. We'll have 3 weeks, then 2 week break, then we balance them 3 weeks. And like he said, you know, he has already given us the time. So in that program, we'll be doing a number of courses. All right. Of course, our flagship is math, and we'll be having math classes. Now, the way you enroll for the math class, we're going to be having 5 blocks of math classes, and then you would enter into those math classes by your competence level. So when you enroll, you have a diagnostic test with me. So I would take that diagnostic test myself with the student, and then we'll just run over a few skills. I know the pressure points to poke at and all of that, and so that I can know exactly where you are with math. Because the unique thing about what myself and Mr. Amos is doing, or are doing, is that you, when you come in, right, we would be able to put you at a particular level based on where you are, and then push you from there. So if you need to rebuild foundations, no problem, it's perfect, because you would come in based off of what you already do know, and then you will now begin to build from there. And then if you need to extend your learning, it's fine, because you won't be stuck in the class with people who probably are struggling with things that you've already mastered. So we're not putting you in an age group, in a group by age or by class or whatever. No, we are putting you in a group by your mastery of your prerequisite math skills. We're also going to be having physical sciences, that's chemistry and biology. We're also going to be taking computer science. So we're taking programming. We're looking at HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and then artificial intelligence literacy. So we're going to be deliberating about, because again, AI is already in the world, right? There's hardly anything I do right now that even to draft my contracts, right? You know, I use AI and all of that. And one of the interesting things that myself and Mr. Amos, you know, we actually agree on is that the educational system is wrong to see AI as the enemy of education. I think we need to tweak our learning to accommodate the reality of AI, because AI is the reality of the world, right? It's like when calculators first came in and people thought calculators was going to spoil mathematics. Calculators did not spoil mathematics. Calculators just exposed us to be able to learn even more complex things. That's just it, right? So the presence of calculators meant that we could open up our mind and begin to do a lot more interesting things that we could not have done without calculators. So same thing with AI. So yes, so you're opening the doors to, you know, to AI literacy. Then we'll also be having guest speakers and career prep, and then we'll be having life skills, soft skills, and interpersonal communication. And this is really key, because remember I spoke about the culture of learning. That our kids, they need to be inspired. They need to see reason why. For a lot of the kids that I work with internationally, that's a major work that I have to do, to inspire beyond the number, because there's no expectation, right? So beyond the numbers, beyond that, they have to also be inspired. So myself and Mr. Amos obviously will be taking them on sessions. But beyond us, to have a couple of other people also that will also be coming in to speak to them, you know, and engage with them. Yeah, so that's just the summary of it. But then, like he said, if you want to enroll, you enroll. After enrolling, the next thing is a diagnostic test, all right? And then that diagnostic test, I'll take it myself to know where you are with your numbers, just, you know, and all of that. And then after that, you can now have it in one of the classes that we have running.
Oh, wow. Well, that's really, really interesting. I like the fact that you conceived the idea, you synergized. I mean, from what you said, I noticed that one of you is more of an administrator, one of you is more of a curriculum builder, even though you are both educators. So you're working at your strong point. That's fantastic. That's brilliant, you know. I say Yinka say Oga Amos say Oga Yinka or Mr. Yinka. You know, I like that. It's mutual respect, but it's okay. You know, I mean, the core thing there is that it's you have started. It's a startup. It's an innovation, and we are celebrating you. We're going to propagate this gospel. We're going to let the world know about it. You know, that's what we are here for. You know, just to let the world know that these people, these young men are doing this, and you have to patronize them. Made in Nigeria for Nigerians, for the whole world. Wow. You know, I can attest to the fact that Nigerian children, you know, in America, in Britain, do very well in mathematics. Right? Those that started schooling in Africa before they came abroad. Now, I'm sure you heard of Professor Chike Obi, right?
It's been long ago. Remind us, sir.
You know the professor is a foremost Nigerian mathematician, renowned actually. Wow. You know, because you guys can't be doing so much for maths and not know about Chike Obi. Let me read some excerpts for you. Okay, renowned mathematician Chike Obi solved Fermat's 200-year-old conjecture with pencil and paper, while the Cambridge mathematician John Wills achieved same with the help of a computer working over a decade. That's how good he is. You know, after the harsh environment of the 1980s IMF World Bank Structural Adjustment Program, the Babangida military dictatorship back then undertook massive budgetary cutbacks in higher education. Our brightest and the best fled abroad. Then they called it brain drain. So, I mean, I understand you guys are young, but Professor Chike Obi is, when you say mathematics in Nigeria, that's numero uno. Wow. Now, having said all that, you know, Yinka, you studied electrical engineering. You're technically a physicist. How has your background as a physicist, you know, helped you thus far? You know, I'm really, you know, you're a teacher, you teach math. I mean, I know it's not just physics you study. You have background in molecular this and that, you know, and so on and so forth. So how did you come this far? How, you know, why math?
You know, the thing about math is the scientists and the physicists, they call it the language of science, right? Math is the language of science. And so the important thing to realize is that in physics, when I go to work, you know, this is an example of a physicist, Leonard Euler. He was a physicist, but he was also a mathematician. They used to be very connected. So when I go to work every day, everywhere I turn is math, is physics, is math, is physics. And so I get to see math in action. And that's part of what drives my passion to help children understand it well, because it will help them do much better in whatever they do if they have a solid math foundation. So even though I'm a physicist, I see that math is the language that makes physics work. And that's part of what makes our accounting to calculus very, very interesting, because we actually take math, physics, and chemistry, we put them together. We understand they're connected. And that's the way the greatest physicists learned and did it. Today, because of convenience, we don't do it like that. But Nigerian School of Mathematics and STEM plus AI is going to change that. By God's grace, we want schools to begin to copy us. We actually want them to do that. After we get our first 1 million students, they can copy our recipe, right? The point is, every child needs the rigor that we're bringing. Every child needs it. And every child can operate at that level. Let me give you a quick example and then I'll hand it back. You know, there's American students, when the summer comes, they say it's 3 months off, I'm taking a break and blah, blah, blah. Do you know that the 3 months off children take from America, it costs them 4 years of mass learning over the course of their K-12 education? If you don't stop taking summer break and you learn a little bit year round, you literally gain 4 years of maths. You can become, America can become one of the best countries in maths if they would just stop the summer break, raise the bar, and support the children. And this is something that last week I saw 2 people debating. Should we do calculus or statistics? That was their debate. Like, why do we force everybody to do calculus? I'm looking at them. In America, you are asking that question. In the AI revolution, you are asking whether children should choose one or the other. No, it's both. Why do they have 3 months off? They're not farming. That's what they used to do. They're not farming. So why don't we get the children the tools they need rather than lowering the bar and it's hurting them? So anyways, you guys see the heart behind part of what we're doing. And so that's where, when I know my Nigerian heritage of, you know, this is how we learn things in Nigeria, I know that many families are fine with doing math year round. But I've tried doing it for many summers and it's been a struggle. And I want to call parents from everywhere in the world, give your child a quality math education year round.
Okay, I'll still come back to you, Amos, but before I go on, let me go to another Nigerian of record, you know, because every time I talk to Amos, you're always talking Euler, you know, European names, Rainbow names. You don't know Chike. Can you imagine? I have to find you. If the man was alive, I mean, I don't even know if he was alive, but You are somebody that you'll be so proud of. I'm telling you. There's Anne-Marie Imafidon. She earned Oxford Masters in Mathematics and Computer Science, Nigeria, when she was only 19 years old. Can you imagine that? 19, you know, Masters in Mathematics and Computer Science from Oxford at 19. Today, she sits on several corporate boards and was awarded an MBE, as in UK, Member of British Empire, in 2017 for service to science as in the UK, yeah. Recently, Benue State University mathematician Atovigba Michael Veshima is believed to have solved 2-century-old Riemann conjecture that has defied giants such as Gauss, Minkowski, and Polya. So you see, all those Igbo names they are calling Polya and Gauss, Minkowski, Atovigba Michael, can you imagine? Veshima, Benue State guy, Benue State University for that matter, I solved it, you know, but it's all good. Yinka, you studied electrical engineering. You are a good administrator. You know, I've seen it. Amos has testified to it, the way you manage lead learning and all that. Where did you get that knack for administratorship? You know, they don't teach you that in the University of Electrical Engineering. Did you inherit it hereditary or you developed yourself?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think, yes, I think it's more of developing myself and then trying to learn to, it's been quite a learning curve, right? So when I first started, I was everything. I was the admin, I was the guy, I was even the cleaner, funny enough. And I had staff, but funny enough, I just did everything. I taught all the classes and I had staff, you know, and all of that. But over time, I had to start to learn to trust people, all right? So you learn to trust people, give them tasks, allow them make mistakes and then correct the mistakes that they make, you know, and all of that, you know. Then started learning how to build systems, okay. Thankfully, technology now helps us to be able to create systems for, okay, this is the standard messages that goes out. So for our recruitment, for instance, we sat down for one day alone, and then just came up with that process that we currently use. And for you to work with us, it's a 3-month progress and process that you have to go through, and you have to go from one level to the other. And we just have someone managing and running that system now. But back then, you know, I'll be the one to send the invoice, and then when they argue that, oh, the price is too much, I'll say, okay, no problem. The director will call you. Then I'll go and carry my own phone, my other line, and call you as the director. After I told you, the director will call you. Those kind of, you know, all those things. But by the mercy of God, we have continued to build. But another thing that I would say, and again, you might not agree with what I'm about to, but I think my background in math also played a role because it allows you to be very logical. You say, okay, this doesn't fit. Why doesn't this fit? Okay, turn it this other way and try it out, right? Another thing that, and I've had to tell myself very harsh truths, right? So for instance, I have people who, because as an administrator, right, you must be able to spot people, their strengths, and then play to their strengths, right? Mm-hmm. So for instance, the guy now that runs my entire system, his name is Akin, amazing guy, about 26. He was working with me for just about a year before I made him the head of everything. And that was because I just noticed that, he would not leave any stone unturned, you know, he would follow up on people and all of that. So, and that major thing that I had to learn actually was, okay, I've spotted you, you are not good in this role, what are you good at? Okay, play the role you're good at. So there are people who are great administrators but are not great tutors. Some people are great tutors, but you know, if you give them, okay, create content, you chase them for 5 years, but once you leave them with a child, the child just opens up to them, all right, and then they just begin to work together. So I've had to be able to learn how to, okay, pick people and then place them where their strengths are, you know, and then have them operate out of their strengths. So when I say tutors, for instance, now the people that we assign to teach, oh my God, they are fantastic, right? And again, because that is their strength, you must be a good communicator. You must have that thing that young people see you and just open up to you. Like it's kind of like an aura, as it were.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with that.
The people that don't have that but are extremely good at their content, we have them teach university students.
True.
You know, we have them teach university students, high school, leaving high school, university students. Those ones, they're not there for inspiration per se, because whoever they are trying to work with already is probably feeling the course or something or one thing or the other. They're already on their toes. So those ones just go and they deliver really well. But we have the ones, so it's just like I said, so before you receive a badge, there are several things that go into the system to say, okay, you know what, we are equipped enough to deliver at this level. And like I said, so far so good. We have about 96% satisfaction rating, right? When you 96 to 98. So when we ask parents, how willing are you to refer us, right? Or how satisfied are you with the services, or admin, or feedback, or accountability, and all of that. The summary of everything was between 96 and 98% satisfaction rating. So we thank God for what He has been able to help us.
My last question before we go, and I'm asking this to the two of you. It does seem like maybe you'll have answered it in the past, but I'll ask again. Let me start with you, Yinka, and with Amos. What's your end goal? What do you want to gain from this? Is it money, or there's something about it that you just want to empower the youth of Nigeria? What's your main source of inspiration in doing this? Or it's just both? This question discuss startup. It's no holds barred. Feel free. You can see we do a lot of freestyling. Yeah. We don't over prepare. We don't overdo anything. Just be yourself. Say the way it is. What's your major source of inspiration?
Yeah.
What's your end game? What you want to, what inspires you?
Okay, so I think personally, right, I want to leave the Nigerian educational space a lot better than it is currently, right? And it's twofold. Number one is Nigerian educators, we are amazing. We just need exposure, right? And all of these things being bettered out of Nigeria will open a lot of opportunities for Nigerian educators to get the exposure that they need and excel, right? So we have amazing educators. We have people who have taught in government schools Mr. Amos was sharing with me about his chemistry teacher and all of that, back. And again, I also had such teachers, and I know that they are amazing, phenomenal. It's just exposure. And we have them till now, just exposure. So to be able to expose them and give them opportunity to earn as they deserve, that's one thing. That's on one side. But on the other hand, one of the things that myself and Mr. Amos agree on is that we want to be able to reshape the Nigerian educational system. Now, Mr. Amos talk about the world. I'm talking about Nigeria. My focus is Nigeria, right? Almost, for me, my home is Nigeria. And for me, I want to lead the Nigerian educational space a lot better than it is right now. So one of the things we want to do is, we want to build the Khan. I don't know if you're familiar with Khan Academy. Is an online platform powered by the US government for educating. I use it a lot. I think it has its merit. But we want to build Khan Academy Pro Max plus for Nigerian students. Right, so and we are already working on that, and so that it's going to be free for every Nigerian student to access and use, and even children all over the world. So that's a major program that we're working on. So my goal is, one, educators. Let's get as many educators as we are exposed to the point where they're able to do amazingly and phenomenally without having to leave, because we have a lot of Nigerian educators running away. Brilliant, phenomenal. In fact, there was a lady I spoke to yesterday. It almost broke my heart, even though I was happy for her.
When you don't do that well.
Yes, we don't pay them. That lady is amazing. When I say an amazing, she teaches early years, and then primary 1, primary 2. She is again amazing. I just chatted with her. She's in the UK. In fact, I saw the picture. You know how people snap picture when they go to the UK now. So I just saw the quote and everything in my head. I'm like, another one bites the dust. So who educate our own children? So there's the one of teachers, right? But there's also the one of the students, the Nigerian students. I really think that we can build something that would revolutionize both the mind of the Nigerian students and also the educators as well.
Oh, fantastic. Amos, the maths guy, what's your inspiration? What's your end game? What do you want to achieve from all this?
So, if you want to understand something, it's always good to have a goal. And the goal for me, for example, with math and physics is, I want to understand Einstein's theory of general relativity well, and all the principles of physics that people talk about. But in order to understand that, you need to understand calculus. So therefore, there are billions of people in the world today that cannot explain Einstein's theory of general relativity. They cannot explain Isaac Newton's theory of gravitation. They cannot explain astronomy well, right? I believe that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So I believe that the world is God's world, right? So these scientists of old, they used to say the same thing also. I say all of that to say that if you don't know mathematics, there will actually be a limit to how much physics you can do. There will be a limit to how much chemistry you can do. I don't want any child in the world to be limited by their math knowledge. So my Counting to Calculus initiative wants to help 1 billion students to learn math up to calculus, statistics, discrete math, data science, and differential equations. This doesn't exist for ordinary students in the world. I want to change that. This only exists for the gifted kids and sometimes people who have the means, right, that attend private schools in America and the UK. But imagine children in my village, in Garkida or in Yola State, in Adamawa State. Imagine people in Lagos, in Ijanikin and Badagry doing differential equations on a casual Saturday afternoon during holiday time. That is my vision, that every child in every country in Africa has the access to the highest levels of learning. How will I power that? I need tutors. I need a system. Lead Learning is providing me with that system, right? So my goal is 1 billion children. Now, Africa has about 220 million children, but this vision is South America, Asia, all across India. I already have India, for the global effort. So Counting the Calculus wants to help 1 billion children, but let's get Nigeria covered. And Lead Learning can help us do that. 20 million children out of school. Let's solve that. Not 10 years from now. Let's solve it now. All children, quality education in maths and science. So Lead Learning is bringing the app. They are bringing the website. We are not playing around. Constant electricity in this decade. Because we have Michael Faraday in Nigeria.
Absolutely, yeah.
We have James Clerk Maxwell. They are there. The Newtons, they are there. Let's raise them up. So lastly, the teachers, let them get a way to earn income while they're in Nigeria. Let them earn income supporting this mission so that the American students here, here's the interesting thing about our strategy. It's a blue ocean strategy, because some of what I'm doing, I'm not in competition with anyone because nobody has done it. Let me give you a quick example. I know our time is up.
That's why it's an innovation.
Yeah. So let me give you a quick example. One of the things I want to see is the students that say, I'm just a C student, I will just keep managing. Amos is saying, Mr. Yinka and Mr. Amos will inspire you to realize you can do better. Then we'll now tutor you. Yeah. So you were not going to be anybody's customer. We have now made you a customer because we've made you believe you can do math. Not because we want to make money, but because you can actually do it. Math is the easiest subject. And people just don't know. It is the easiest subject. You can watch our webinar, Demystifying Math. Maybe we'll send him the link, Mr. Yinka. Okay. So Mr. Yinka is also a visionary, by the way. He's just helping me as operations guy, but the guy is a visionary too. So together, eventually we'll have to hire a full-time COO, right? Because both of us are visionaries also.
Employ me now.
Hey, okay, now we'll talk. We're coming to Houston.
Let me ask you this. Do you guys need funding? Are you looking for funding or not?
Yes, so we need funding, sir. Not 5 billion, but something will help.
Okay.
I say we need funding to fund our first center in Houston, and then the app Mr. Yinka has built. We need that thing to spread like fire all across Nigeria.
Are you talking to anybody, any bank, any investor right now?
I hope they watch our video, sir. But
all right.
I am talking to 1 or 2 investors as well.
Okay.
But if you know people, if they are Nigerians watching and say want to support your efforts, let me say the other thing I'm doing that nobody has ever done. Imagine you watch Netflix for maths, okay? But imagine that every lecture is only given by someone who is passionate about that particular sub-strand of maths. So let me explain. Mathematicians don't always love teaching every aspect of math. For example, me, I love polynomials. I love factoring polynomials. That's my passion I love all of maths, don't get me wrong. But there's certain aspects, wake me up anytime. I will be excited to tell you about it. But if you tell me to find the zeros of a polynomial where the leading coefficient is greater than 2, that one, I need a second. There are some topics that take more time. But give me special triangles. Give me trigonometry. Give me trigonometric identities. Give me differentiation. That's what I do on my Friday hobby. My point is, imagine that you have 100 lectures and every lecture is from somebody that is very passionate about that strand. Like the person that will teach integration is passionate about integration. Imagine how nice that video will flow. And then me and Mr. Yinka, we can now walk between, let's say you watch the first video, we'll now tell you, welcome back to the next video where Mr. Waziri is going to talk to you about the kinetic theory of matter, his passionate topic. Thank you. He now shares. We'll now come back and say, now this person is passionate about organic chemistry. Go ahead. Imagine watching videos of only passionate lectures. That's where Lead Learning and Life LLC come together, and we're creating that as a first product ever made of its kind.
Interesting. I love the passion and the confidence you exude. So I did polynomials too, but that was hard maths.
Yes, sir.
and swords, trig ratio and all that. So I wasn't lost when you were saying those things. So I did physics. I like optics, you know, and I started with electrical engineering myself. I know all those electromagnetic field and waves, transmission lines and filters, you know, that's all. You know, I wasn't lost, so you know that kind of thing. So we're good. So now let me just refer to two people that have done well in your fields, you know, Nigerians, of course. There's another young guy, Alod Laulua, was one of a dozen future Einstein, they call them, you know, awarded postdoctoral fellowship, you know, by Harvard University. He completed a remarkable doctorate in mathematical physics, you know, at the University of Lagos at age 21. Can you imagine? While at Harvard, he aims to focus on solving problems related to quantum ergodicity and quantum chaos with applications to medical image and robotics.
That's my field, though, the medical imaging part.
Yeah, so I know. That's why I read that one. I was expecting to, you know, yeah, there are people. Another Unilag alumnus, Ayodele, that graduated with a perfect 5.0 GPA and unprecedented feat in the Nigerian University. Victor Olalusi recently graduated with such stellar performance at the Russian Medical Research University there in Moscow and was fitted the best graduate throughout the Russian Federation. Can you imagine at that time? Abiba Dagash, daughter of my friend, Senator Sanusi Dagash, recently graduated with a third first in engineering at Oxford University. All Nigerians. I'm telling you, we're too much. Emmanuel Wabua earned a GPA of 3.98 out of a possible 4.0 at the best overall graduating of the Ivy League John Hopkins University in America. You know, Stewart Hendry, John Hopkins, Stewart Hendry is a John Hopkins professor of neuroscience. That the young man as having an intellect so rare, he touches on the unique, a personality that is once in a lifetime. Can you just imagine that? There's also Femi Adeshokan, postdoctoral fellow of Harvard Medical School, who patented the procedures for tracking spread of viral epidemics in developing countries. There's hope for Africa, guys. So Amen. We're going to call it a wrap there. I'm going to share everything, all those details is going to be in the chat box for people that are watching, you know, and thank you for your time. Everybody's
Mr. Balogun, I wanted to just make sure, Yinka, when he talked about funding, please, is there anything I forgot there? Just for 1 second, because Mr. Yinka wants to set up hubs at universities like Unilag. Let's see more hubs around the country in the universities. Mr. Yinka, is there anything else? Just 1 second about funding for the projects you have in Nigeria.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So we are open to discuss. I mean, to any option for funding. We are already applying for a few to see that can support our dream. So both for the our non-for-profit that's within the platform for Nigerian educators, right? So maybe if there's a system that one has going, one has a multinational, someone has a budget for sales that might be willing to fund education in Africa. That's in Nigeria. That's brilliant. I feel like we are the right people for that because we've already done so much with our own money. That's the truth. We have done so much with our own money. I'm willing to share, willing to explain that. You can imagine what we'll do with extra support, right? So that's for the not-for-profit. But then we also have the, again, the tutoring business that, again, we have a wide pool of teachers, all right, that can grow to even, we can go to quadruple our numbers, right? And then we have a wide market internationally across nations, and all of that. So I'll be happy to discuss and share, what all of this entails, where we are as a company and where we're going to, and how you can partner with us on either one really, and and both are available to receive funding. Thank you so much, Mr. Amos.
Yeah. Anytime. You guys have done well. All our viewers all over the world, you've heard it. Yinka and Amos, these guys are slaying stereotype. They are crossing all the hurdles. Nothing stops them. Maths, physics, curriculum, they're already on the map of the world. Let's encourage them. I mean, if you have a lose 1 billion somewhere, you don't know what to do with it, and you want to multiply, this guy can multiply your money. in very developed countries, people invest in this kind of thing. Endowment, foundation, this is what they're looking at. So we don't have to wait for Americans or just Europe. If you're in Africa, you have a lot of those money, you don't know what you're doing. These are the kind of places you put that money. Bank CEO, Uncle Atedo Peterside, I know you love this kind of thing. IBTC, the chairman of all chairman, man of honor, these are the guys, Tony Lumelu, these are the boys who, TT Bank, these are the people, and of course, the major foundations in America, it doesn't matter where the money is coming from. These are the Amos and Yinka, and it's clear they have started with a lot of humble beginnings. They are very hardworking people. Can see they are very slim, fit guys, always cracking their head, trying to solve problems. No pot belly. I like that. But I'm sure you get there. I'm sure you're both going to succeed. It's a wrap there. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Every detail you need will be in the chat box vis-a-vis this guy. Let's reach out to them. And if you're not investing, let your children learn from there. Let's just patronize these guys. That's the whole idea. Startup and Innovators on Atlanta Discuss, bringing the very best of Africa to you every now and then. Bye. Take care. God bless you all.
Thank you.
Fantastic time. See you next week, Wednesday.